Big shout out to today's video sponsor, Linsol. Check out their fantastic deals in the links in the video description. I've spoken at length about budget and mid-range IEMs, but what if you want to push the boat out? Budget be damned. What if you spent over £500 on a pair of, quote, earphones? Enter the Thieaudio Oracle Mk II, an absolute beast of an IEM that will blow you away. This one's going to be good. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and these have absolutely ruined my AirPods Pros for me. As always, big thanks to Linsol for providing this review unit. They have not paid me to say anything nice about it, neither has the manufacturer. No one is seeing this video before you see it, so just be cautious of that. There's no getting around the fact that these are expensive, just shy of $600, so comfortably over £500. These are high-end, though not Thieaudio's flagship. They have stuff that you could spend easily 4 figures on. I mean, they are really known for their high-end stuff. This is quite tame for them. The Oracle Mk II, as you can imagine, is a second version of the Thieaudio Oracle. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to test these and I've never used them before, so I can't give you much information on the comparison between the two. However, from what I've heard, these forgo a little bit of detail for more fun and more bass. Before we get to the way these things sound, because they do sound incredible, I have to talk about the really nice box. Simple though it may be externally, you are presented with a lovely fabric hard case, the gorgeous cable, and the IEMs themselves. In the case you will find a selection of foam tips, as well as 2.5 and 4.4 balance connections to go along with the 3.5mm connector already on the end. Oh, and of course this is a 2-pin cable. The cable is really nice. It's a bronzish, deeply sort of goldy brown twisted thing that feels somehow supple despite its girth and density. It's not a light cable by any means. The quick disconnect isn't the biggest that I found, neither is it the smallest. It fits really well, it's quite easy to get the tips on and off. It isn't locking, though it does seem to hold and secure quite nicely. And the overall length of the cable isn't particularly long, though I wouldn't say that it's too short to, run down your torso to your pocket or to run across the desk into your laptop, that kind of thing. It's just you're probably going to need an extension if you're running into sort of a larger audio setup. You want to sit on a nice sort of armchair or something. It's not going to be that kind of length. The included phone tips are really nice and they quick respond, so basically you squeeze them and they very quickly sort of bounce back instead of the slow responding ones. These fit so well in my ear, and I stuck with the mediums, that basically they completely outclass my AirPods Pros in terms of noise isolation with ANC on. Obviously these don't have any kind of active ANC, so comparing it to a good set of ANC buds is kind of nuts. Just shows you how well the foams do fit and how much of a difference they can make. For the first week I felt a little bit of soreness and fatigue from the shape of the size of these things. I mean, they are quite large, they are quite deep. They're not going to be a sort of thing you could put headphones over the top of, but anyway, I didn't feel any discomfort after about a week. It took about a week to break these in and get used to them. The shell is a plastic acrylic composite, resulting in a decent weight. They're not really heavy, but they're a decent, feel in the hand. They look and feel really nice. This pattern on the back varies between sets, so your mileage may vary on which pattern you get. There is also a tiger version, which looks quite nice, but is, in my opinion, a bit over the top. I quite like the way that this subtly reflects light. It's not obvious, which is quite nice. The case is relatively basic. It's a foam hard case and it's quite big, though not particularly tall. Fits these IEMs in perfectly with the quick disconnects and the additional sets of foams if you really wanted to as well. All fits in there nicely, though this isn't the sort of thing you're going to be able to walk around with in your pocket. It's more the sort of thing you put in your backpack and carry around with you like I did. Enough stalling. These things sound incredible. Compared to the big planars that I've been testing recently, this is a different kind of sound, mainly because the Oracle Mk II is made up of several drivers instead of one big one. It has a single dynamic, 2 balanced armatures and 2 electrostatics. That's 5 speakers in each IEM, or drivers I should say. So you have the single dynamic in each doing the bass and the lower mids, you have the balanced armatures doing the upper mids, and then you have the electrostatics doing the treble, the really high pitch stuff. So you get an almost layering of IEM drivers in there. Calling back to my Thieaudio Wu HBB review, which you should definitely check out if you haven't already, I said that the big planars in there create a very smooth sound because it's a single planar in each driver. It's a single planar in each IEM rather, and it results in a very smooth, cohesive sound. This isn't like that. It's textured. If you could rub your hands along it, it would feel like crunchy peanut butter. Sure, it's kind of smooth in the way that it delivers the audio, but at the same time you can tell that there's different drivers in there doing different things. It just gives you almost more dynamic range and more texture. You feel the sound more than you just hear it. I've said that a number of times in other videos, but it's really evident with this because of just the way that the layering happens. You get real depth in the bass, you get nice clarity in the mids, and you get really high sort of almost twinkling in the highs as well. It's a really, really nice experience. It's not quite as smooth and as beautiful as the Thieaudio's, but I do feel like it does give you a wider, bigger experience. I mentioned detail and soundstage. These things deliver the former in droves. There's loads of detail, especially being able to pick up sort of different instruments, different gunshots in video games, just everything. Lots and lots of detail. Some of the best that I've heard. Again, the previous generation meant to have more detail, so I can't even imagine that would be like information overload. Imaging is really good, better than that actually. It's very good. It's great because these have replaced my 7Hz zeros for esports gaming. You can just hear directions, footsteps, you know where everything is going to be. Imaging is very good. Soundstage is way bigger than the Thieaudio's, maybe not quite as big as the Timeless AE with the huge planar driver in there. That thing just felt really grand and wide. This is decent. I would say it's a above average soundstage. It doesn't feel like you're in a giant auditorium, but it doesn't feel like everything's over the top and on top of you, so definitely happy with the soundstage. The overall sound is quite warm. You do have lots of detail, but there's definitely lots of sub bass and bass, give you a very warm feeling when listening to stuff with low frequencies in it. There's lots of detail in the mids. Never felt like the male vocals were being drowned out at any stage. It just felt like a very neutral to warm. You can definitely hear the subtleties in the upper mids and the mids, but you can also hear, you know, plenty of bass, plenty of warmth to the sound, even though I am running through quite linear outputs in my Thieaudio K5 Pro. My MacBook has a much warmer, I would say, DAC in it, and overall it does sound, you're not going to feel heaps of fatigue, but I did want to mention that if you are sensitive to sibilance, you may not find these to be a fantastic option, mainly because there is plenty of detail in the upper mids. It just means that sometimes you might find it a little fatiguing. I'm not sure because I'm not overly sensitive to sibilance, but I would say that based on other reviews that I've done and the feedback on those previous reviews, these may not be for everyone. So is it worth spending £500 or more on these? Well, yes and no. Okay, so the law of diminishing returns is coming into play here. Are these worth double the price of the Timeless AE? I don't think so, but would I pay double the price to have them? Yes. I like the way these sound in their profile, not necessarily just the overall quality, maybe quantitative measures, but also qualitative measures. I think these do sound unique to the way that they have all of those different drivers in them. There's texture to the sound, there's warmth, and I think that the Timeless AE do a fantastic job, but I do feel like £300 is about that sweet spot. Going over that, you're going to see less return for more money put in, you know, the law of diminishing returns, and I do think like these exceed that, and this is for the enthusiast really, not for the casual. So recommended, but I wouldn't go out of your way to buy them if you're perfectly happy with your Timeless AE or Thieaudio Wu, or really anything in the £300 price point. And that about rounds out today's video, guys. I want to give a massive shout out to Linsol for providing these because they are fantastic. They're the best IEMs I've ever used, and they're really fun to check out and review. So hopefully I'm getting better at this kind of thing. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about these IEMs and other IEMs in the price point. Links to Linsol stuff will be in the description as always. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.